Coming up on SCVTV's Community Corner, get outside your comfort zone at Wish Education Foundation's brand new fundraiser, guaranteed to put you over the edge.
Want to give back? Discover volunteer opportunities with the City of Santa Clarita and make a difference in your community.
Learn all about the behavioral programs now available at the Samuel L. Dixon Family Health Center.
Hear from the Michael Hoefflin Foundation on how a simple walk can help support kids battling cancer.
And don't miss the adorable four-legged friend from Outta the Cage who's ready to find a forever home.
Plus, the city just unveiled a brand new playground at Northbridge Park. Get all the details on this week's episode of Twist.
Stay tuned. SCVTV's Community Corner starts now.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley, to SCVTV's Community Corner. I'm Rick Garcia, filling in for Dave Caldwell.
And I'm Carrie Lujan, and this show is all about you, Santa Clarita, the amazing nonprofits, the schools, our local government, and the extraordinary people who make up our community. And we have a great episode lined up for you today.
And we sure do, Carrie. And speaking of amazing nonprofits, we've got the Wish Education Foundation here to tell us all about a brand new and heart-racing fundraiser. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center will chat with us about the expansion of its behavioral health services. And Outta the Cage is here with the most adorable pooch looking for his forever family.
We also have the City of Santa Clarita here today to highlight upcoming volunteer opportunities the community can take part in. Plus, on a brand new episode of This Week in Santa Clarita, we hear about the new playground at Northbridge Park. It developed in partnership with the Saugus Union School District. And Rick, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It is such a pleasure for me to keep the chair warm for Dave. And now I know what it's like when Leno first filled in for Carson.
It's the same feeling.
It's the same idea.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I'm a little starstruck having you here, and I keep referring to you as the Rick Garcia because you've done everything. You are everything TV news in Los Angeles. You did sports, you were an anchor, and you're an award winner at all those things.
Yeah.
We're talking Emmys, Golden Mics, the Edward R. Murrow Award. Tell our viewers a little bit about your background.
Well, I've been a very lucky and blessed person, to say the least. Grew up in the Antelope Valley, which is not far from the Santa Clarita Valley, and then relocated here in 1987. Yeah.
Okay.
But in between those stops, I started at a small radio station in the Antelope Valley. My first TV job was in Palm Springs, followed by Las Vegas, Albuquerque, Phoenix, and then Los Angeles in 1987.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was it like working in TV in Los Angeles, which for people who don't know, making it to LA as a news anchor is like the pinnacle of news anchoring.
And for me, heaven, because I grew up in Southern California watching all the local sportscasters, and then all of a sudden there I was at opening day of Dodger Stadium, and I was one of them. I was among them. So always felt so lucky to be able to be part of that world, and then eventually transitioned over into news, and just had a long and lucky career. And I couldn't be more grateful for the shows I happen to be part of and the people that I worked with, because as we can see around this room here with all these young people manning cameras and part of the crew, it's always a team effort, and without the team you just can't be successful.
And I would say the time that you were, and I'm a huge TV news fan. I love I'm a big fan of yours, as I keep saying.
Okay.
But the time that you were anchoring was kind of the pinnacle, and I would say maybe the last, don't get mad, great generation of TV news, because now with the social media and everything that's everywhere, people are getting their news in so many different places.
It's a lot different. You're right, and the news pie was much larger. The viewership was huge, and I had some incredible partners too. I worked with some incredibly brilliant women, legendary Pat Harvey, who's still working, Christine Devine, Sharon Tay, Lauren Sanchez. I worked with I had so many amazing partners, and that's half the battle. If you can have chemistry with somebody and work well with them, that it makes for an interesting and compelling show.
And you just breezed over Lauren Sanchez.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about her and what she's currently doing.
You tell me.
I mean, I did see her at the inauguration.
Yes. So she, for folks who don't know, she's engaged to Jeff Bezos, who, if you get packages delivered to your doorstep, you know who I'm talking about. One of my favorite people to work with. We had so much fun doing shows. I was doing sports at Channel 11. She was doing entertainment on Channel 13, and they said, let's put these two folks together, have them do a newscast. She started doing news on 13 a little bit before then, but then they teamed us up together. I've never had more fun talking about such awful things than when I worked with her. Just, it was a lot of joy. Yeah.
So throughout your career, I know you've covered so many big stories. Is there one that still sticks with you that as like the moment?
That's a great question. I covered on the sports side of things, I covered World Series, Super Bowls, NBA championships. So as a young guy, who was a frustrated jock, and that was a dream come true. News-wise, anytime there was breaking news, whether it was the earthquakes or some of our wildfires or pursuits, that kind of got the energy going and was really creative for some interesting programming.
Did you enjoy covering pursuits? Because I have to say, I love watching them.
Who didn't? And we would get criticized so much in the news business for covering them, but the ratings would just go through the roof. And everybody, you all know it, you would call your friends and say, quick, turn on the TV.
Yes.
Here it is. And I covered pursuits that involved semi-trucks. Like, how are you going to get away from the CHP to just all kinds of crazy folks that... And they all know they're going to get caught. So you're thinking, what are they thinking? But it did create what we used to call organized chaos in the control room, and so the crew, we had to drop everything we were doing and then focus on anything that was breaking news. So I enjoyed it a lot, and I was really lucky to be able to do it.
So another thing about being one of the biggest anchormen in Los Angeles is that you end up in a lot of movies and TV shows. Tell us about some of what you've appeared in.
Yeah, that's sort of some of the fruits of the labor, because what happens is movie producers and directors, they want actual anchors to play the parts of anchors or reporters. And so they would come to us first and try to see if we'd participate in some of their movies. In fact, I don't know if we're in the interest of full disclosure, but I worked with your husband who was in television news and
That's true.
was an incredible director. And he and I were in a movie together. Well, me, Manny, and several other news people in Los Angeles called it was Nightcrawler, right? Nightcrawler, which was an interesting take on the news business and what we call stringers. Those are people that are freelance people that work overnight, and they take their little cameras out and they go out and shoot breaking news in the overnight when there aren't any crews working. And so if people ever want to watch that movie again, it's Jake Gyllenhaal, Rick Garcia, and Manny Lujan, the big stars.
Yeah. And he still gets residual checks, so please go watch it. Do you still get residual checks from those two?
I'll get them for anything from a penny to $100 every now and then for some of them. It depends on how big the movie was.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're big news anchor in LA, but you chose Santa Clarita as the place to put down roots.
Well, I grew up in the Antelope Valley. I didn't want to, when I was hired, the studios were in Hollywood. I didn't want to make that commute from the Antelope Valley to Hollywood. And so as a kid competing in sports in the Antelope Valley, we would come to the Santa Clarita Valley to compete against the teams out here. I was at Courtsell High School. I competed against Canyon and Saugus and Hart. Those were the only high schools at the time, and played Little League Baseball against teams out here. It just seemed like the perfect place to settle, and it was still about a 30-minute commute to my work. And I've never looked back. I've raised my kids here. They've all gone to school here, and couldn't think any more highly of a community than this one. We're so lucky to live where we do. And
you've been very generous with your time to our local nonprofits. Talk about some of the organizations you're part of.
Well, I'm on the board of directors for the Child and Family Center out here in Santa Clarita. It was such an important organization. They that deals with mental health and domestic violence and the things that nobody wants to talk about. And yet it takes people to roll up their sleeves and do work to help make people healthier in our community. And because it happens here too, right? We're in our homes and our neighborhoods, and we don't think it happens, but it does. And so it's a wonderful organization that's supported so wonderfully by our community here in Santa Clarita. And in the past, I've done lots of work for the Michael Hoefflin Foundation. They're going to be guests on this show, by the way, and for pediatric cancer, which is just so important what they do. And you think about your own kids, and then you see families dealing with a child with cancer, and it's so tough. But I'm proud to be part in the past and currently of those organizations, and proud to be part of a community that just gets together and supports.
Well, we're fortunate to have you here, and we're fortunate to have you here co-hosting.
Thank you.
Before we get into the show,
Yeah.
Who is your favorite co-anchor that you've ever worked with?
Oh, who's my favorite child? You know who you are. Carrie, of course.
Yes, I did it. Okay, this is going to be a great show. Stick with us. There's much more to come.
This is going to be a 70-minute interactive theatrical performance combining magic and games all in one, where we're going to explore all the games that we know and love and play, but at a little bit of a deeper level than we might be used to. It's going to be a very interactive show where everybody gets to participate in one way or another. I'm not going to say the exact games that we're going to be playing, but they are games that you are familiar with and you've probably played before, but in a whole new way. So the late show sold out, and we're really excited about that we had such an amazing reception for that. So we decided to open an early show the same day at 6:30, and there are still tickets available for that as of now. So if you want to come to the show, tickets can be found on eventbrite.com or at thegamesweplayshow.com. Either place, you'll be able to get tickets there. I'm really looking forward to this evening, and I hope you're ready to come out and play.
Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. Fundraisers can come in many forms, from donation drives to walkathons and everything in between. Here in Santa Clarita, our local nonprofits know how to get creative when it comes to giving back. And the Wish Education Foundation is no exception.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Carrie. Today, we're revealing an exciting new fundraiser that's sure to get your heart racing and push you outside your comfort zone. And here to tell us all about it is Wish Education Foundation's Executive Director, Amy Daniels. Amy, thanks for joining us. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
So you have been here many times, and you're a great friend of the show. But for someone watching us for the first time, remind everyone again what Wish Education Foundation is, how it benefits the thousands of students in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Well, thank you for asking me that. We are the fundraising source for the William S. Hart Union School District. That's grades 7 through 12 here in the Santa Clarita Valley. And we bridge the gap in state funding for education. So funding does not meet need. So we're not talking about paper and pencils. We're talking about a funding focus of STEAM with an emphasis on student wellness. So it can be STEM items. It can be art supplies that are not fully funded. We also annually maintain and fund all the wellness centers in the district, and they are well used these days. So there's a lot we do. We also fund special education. There's really nothing that we can't fund other than where money can be found from somewhere else or personnel. Other than that, we're there for the students. It's all student programs within the Hart District that are not fully funded by state funding.
That are so crucial to provide to our students. And talking about creative fundraising,
Yep.
You have a huge announcement. I know it's something you've been working on for a while.
Yep.
Tell us about this unique and somewhat scary fundraiser and how you came up with the idea.
No, not scary, not scary. We don't want to say that. This is so exciting. This is an opportunity for our entire valley and anyone really who just has that little bit of adventurous edge and would really like to try something in a very safe
I
environment.
like how she said edge.
Well,
Do you
and
get that?
And she's right. I'm not going to go on, Mount Olympus or someplace. But
Why not?
This would be the time, though.
This would be the time,
Yeah.
right, to give something a try.
Yeah.
If you have an adventurous side, you are welcome to join us at Over the Edge. And Over the Edge is a wonderful event where we're going to be having people rappel nearly 100 feet, 6 stories down, off the Lemley parking garage into the courtyard at Newhall Crossings.
That's very cool. I mean, it's really a little scary, but really cool.
It is so great. I learned about this through some friends of mine at Special Olympics. They've been working with Over the Edge for about 20 years. They have a 100% safety rating. They oftentimes do 25 and 30-story buildings. This is 6 stories. No brainer. We got this. So it's very, very exciting. At the bottom will be a festival. We'll have music, we'll have food, we have activities for families. We're going to have a liquid courage lounge. So until noon, it'll have
Highly necessary, by the way, I should
yes,
point out.
highly
for someone
necessary.
like me.
Well, we'll be safe with it too. But until noon, it'll have coffee. After that, people can buy tickets to go into the Liquid Courage Lounge, or our sponsors will get in there for free. And it'll have tastings and exclusive food, and it'll just make this a great opportunity for people to come out. If you're not rappelling, come out and watch your friends rappel. So have everybody come out and have a great time. It's right there in that Lemley, Newhall Crossings Square. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Again, it's 100% safety rating. It's going to work like this. So if you've ever run a marathon, or you know anybody who's run a marathon, then you get a campaign page and you send it to your friends and say, you know what? I am raising funds in my community for our local students, and I really want to rappel off this building to raise funds. Can you help me? And we're actually having a first year special. Normally it's $1,000. We're making it $750 so that pretty much anyone can send out something, and hopefully people will want to give and make a difference. With everything going on now, lots of things going on, and also after the fires, we anticipate funding to really take a hit for education, and we want to do our part. It's our job to step in and bridge that gap. So this is a really fun way to do it. So.
Well, I was going to say, if I send something to my friends, they'll offer to push me off the edge of the building.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit.
The big question, though, who can take part? What's the criteria for the rappel? Are there weight and height limits? Can kids take part? But the most important question, do you have a rope that's strong enough for me?
I am pretty sure we can handle you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that, Rick. Thank you so much. It's actually anybody between 100 and 300 pounds can rappel. No age limit, which is amazing, and even mobility challenge people can do it. We will be finding out in the next few weeks if we can even handle wheelchairs. And there's a pretty good chance that we could do that too. And we love that because, we have a very broad demographic of kids in our district and in our valley. And so we want to be able to have it be really inclusive. And we love that. So let everybody come on out. I just met a young girl who said, I'm 101 pounds. I said, baby, you're in.
You're there.
You're in.
Have a big breakfast and come on over.
It's not until August 1st and 2nd. First is our setup day and VIP day, and then August 2nd is the day that everybody will be rappelling down. And it's a great thing for Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduations, send off to college. We also have challenges. So one group can challenge another. They just need to email us. We'll send off a challenge. So let's say a football team challenging another football team. One media group challenging another media group, or government organization challenging another one, all for the good of our local kids.
So if I want Rick to do it, he needs
Wait a second.
he needs to raise $750.
That's right.
So that's the cost to participate, and then all the funds go to
Wish, and then it will go to those programs that are in need at the time. And with each level, so at $750, you can rappel down and you'll get a T-shirt, and then we'll have differing levels. If you get to 1,000, you'll
what
get
do you
some
have
other
to do
things.
to get the liquid courage? what amount is that?
I think that's probably at the $1,000 level. But you can also just buy a ticket for $35 and get into the Liquid Courage Lounge. So.
Do you practice what you preach? Are you going to be rappelling?
150%. I am very, very excited. It's very, very safe. And this is, just one of the events that we have going on this year. And it is certainly one of the most exciting. So we hope that our community comes out in force. We'll be live within the next 2 weeks. So they just need to check out at our website, wisheducationfoundation.org. And actually the papers are being signed as we speak.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is called Over the Edge.
Yep.
But we have to also ask you about Heart District's Got Talent while you're here.
That's right. That's why I wore the T-shirt. It's coming up on February 28th, and it is just the sweetest event. Last year we just started this with 19 kids, and we've doubled it this year, and we hope to double it every single year. We thought, is this going to take hold? And then after last year's event, which was just fantastic, we had all these kids who contacted us after and said it was just the greatest night. And to see the parents, get to see their kids on stage. And these aren't necessarily kids who are already performing at their schools. They're kids who just always wanted to. And what a great opportunity for them to get out there. And it really runs the gamut from kids who really have a lot of experience being on stage to kids who just said, I'm going for it.
Will Simon and Sofia Vergara be there by chance?
Yeah.
No. So you're pitching 2 events here today. Can you give us information on each event one more time?
Sure. Heart District Got Talent, February 28th. It's going to be held at Saugus High School. I want to thank Heroes of Color. They are our presenting sponsor for that. And then right now, the big thing that we're pushing, we have a car event coming on May 31st. It brings out 3,000 people to our community at Valencia Town Center for the car show. And then Mercedes is our sponsor for that, big sponsor for that. And then we have, of course, Over the Edge, and we are getting sponsors in right now for that. And you're going to get exposure all the way through August, so now's the time to give us a call. We're just going live with that, and we hope the entire community comes out, gives it a try. It'll be a lot of fun.
And a website where people should go.
wisheducationfoundation.org.
Perfect. Amy, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for inspiring us. Yeah. Rick is going to go sign up right now.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
All right, there's more to come. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. Since 1995, the Michael Hoefflin Foundation has served more than 800 families in the Santa Clarita Valley as they navigate the challenges of pediatric cancer.
This incredible nonprofit is a guiding light for families affected by childhood cancer by offering financial assistance, counseling, emotional support, research funding, and so much more. And
here with us today to talk to us about the foundation and to preview the much anticipated Walk for Children's Cancer, our board members Tracy Sullivan and Christian Lazor. Thank you both so much for being here. We really appreciate what you're doing. Christian, let's start with you.
Sure.
For those watching our show for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about the Michael Hoefflin Foundation and why it's such an incredible resource to have in our community?
Absolutely. So we're kind of the first on the scene, as you might call it. Letty, our liaison between the hospital and our foundation, goes into the hospital as soon as the families find out that their kid has cancer, and brings a little backpack full of toys and warmth and everything that you might need to spend a couple days. So we're kind of one of the first people that are introduced, and we come with services. We help with parking, groceries, gas. If you need some help and you need to talk to somebody, well, we also have those services as well too. And just trying to let the families know that there's someone here to walk with them and to be a part of their journey. And it's been an honor to be a part of the foundation for myself for the last 2 years and work alongside Tracy. And I have kids myself locally here in Santa Clarita, and that's where we serve, is Santa Clarita and our surrounding cities of San Fernando Valley and Antelope Valley. So it's a mission that was very easy to get behind for myself.
And you guys really are a lifeline to families going through probably the worst time in their lives, and which is why you do the walk. So Tracy, give us a preview of this year's walk. When is it? Where is it? What can participants expect this year? And can we still register?
Yes, absolutely. So we are very excited for this year's walk. It's the foundation's biggest fundraiser of the year, so we're really trying to call all of the members of the community to come and support the Michael Hoefflin Foundation. The walk is taking place on April 5th. That's a Saturday at Central Park. We will all be stationing around 8 a.m. and then we will be beginning the walk at 9 a.m. And the walk is about 1.3 miles and it culminates at the staircase. So that's kind of the details. Afterwards, though, we do encourage everyone to stick around. There's a bunch of children's events and activities that people can enjoy.
And how will you use the funds?
The funds are used for the program. Everything goes straight back into the families, and that's the greatest part about seeing it and being a part of the board and watching the money come in and watching it go out, and everything is sent directly to the families and help. And it's really nice to be this close to this foundation, and there's a reason why they've been in this community for so long. Just they do it at the highest level.
And we all know the high cost of healthcare in this country, so we can only imagine what the costs are like for those parents whose children are battling cancer. Talk about the hidden costs that the general public might not be aware of.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at the beginning. But there's a ton of hidden costs. One being parking. That was the one that kind of shocked me the most, is that every time a family checks into Children's Hospital, they need to pay for parking.
You don't think about that.
No, you don't at all. And it's anytime you leave to re-enter, you
Just
have to
adds
pay for
up.
parking again. Exactly. So that's one of the services that Michael Hoefflin Foundation provides to families. They pay for parking passes because they spend so much time at the hospital.
Gasoline too, you know, just things that you don't even think about, you know, everyday expenses that just are tacked on to, you know, the issue at hand of getting across town to visit your kid, you know, after you get off of work, relieve the wife, and, you know, that's $20 right there just in parking, probably another 20 in gas.
You mentioned something really important. I participated in some of the Michael Hoefflin activities in the past. There were times where we would distribute presents to families during Christmas time, which is a wonderful, amazing moment for me. What was heartbreaking the most to me was to see some of these fathers working 2 jobs so that mom could quit her job to just take care of their child full time.
I'd love to share a story. This holiday season, we had a little girl. Her name was Valerie, 7 years old. I'm going to tear up probably. But she was a twin. And she passed away, I think the date was on the 10th, and we had our event on the 14th. And Dad and her little sister showed up to that Christmas event, and it was just one of those things that, like, the father said that he doesn't want anything to change for his daughter, and he wanted to make sure that he's still living for her. And it was a very, very touching story, and every year that I've been a part of it, from the second year now, that is the greatest event. And I love to bring my family and just be grateful for our health and our kids. So.
You can tell hearing you talk how much this really means to you. Tell us a little bit more why both of you decided to be part of this board. Tracy, let's start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I decided to be part of this board. The mission really called to me. I wanted to be more involved in the community. I'm kind of a recent transplant to Santa Clarita, so I wanted to become more invested in the local community. So I did research, it's as simple as that, on different nonprofits, and met some of the folks at the Michael Hoefflin Foundation, and just was so moved by the passion and the services that they provide and the impact that they make.
Christian, same question.
Yeah, so I was asked to be a part of the board, and, you know, after some consideration and remembering the evening of this Under the Stars event, that's how I was introduced to Michael Hoefflin Foundation. And to hear that that event was lost through the COVID years, I took that as my mission to get that back for our board. And you could ask Tracy that there isn't a meeting that I don't stand up and say I am here to bring back that night, and I'm excited for you guys and everyone else to be involved. After that, asking my family if it was okay to spend more time with the community, because I've already donated a lot of my time to it. And they decided that they were going to work on the board with me, you know. So you'll see my family at all of our events, and I always have them by my side, and it's kind of a little trade-off. Daddy gets to go do Michael Hoefflin Foundation, but the family goes with me on this one. So.
You don't realize how quickly you go home and hug your kids when you are part of this organization in some way. I know you want to talk a little bit about registration.
Yes.
And maybe you could tell our viewers where else they can either register or find out more about the Michael Hoefflin Foundation.
Yes, so register online at mhf.org. Takes you straight to our registration site. You can register as an individual, or you can register as a team. It's a little bit of a competition going on with this event. We have teams, and we give an award to the team that raises the most funds, and also the individual that raises the most funds. So we encourage for everyone to go online to register. We do have a early bird registration discount that runs through March 1st. So we really encourage everyone to register early. Not only do they get a discount, but it also helps us plan. Last year we had over 500 people attend the walk, and we're trying to double that this year.
That's awesome. I feel like maybe there's a little competition going on here. Is this
There
true?
always is.
Last year, I remember celebrating a little early while we were here on this side, actually, and I ended up getting my butt kicked by a couple of the other board members, and actually a couple of the families as well, too, which...
He talks a big game.
Yeah, I just get out to the early start, you know, and then at the end, you know, obviously, I want as much as we can get for the foundation. So if I'm not number one, that's better for everybody, right?
All right, well, let's give you a chance to pull your teams then. Go ahead.
Well, my team, it consists of my organization that I belong to, and we had about 35 individuals walking last year, and it is such a blast. It's not just within the organization that I belong to, but friends and family, so I will plug it for the world. It's City Soulmates for a Cure. That's the team that I belong to. So if you don't have a team, you can feel free to hop onto mine.
Yes, and I'm representing the SCV Stairs project. So it's a group that we have over at Central Park at the Staircase, a community, as you would, that is motivating, inspiring, continuing to give back. It's kind of the mission of the Stairs, the heartbeat of Santa Clarita, I like to call it.
Tracy Sullivan, Christian Lazor, board members for the Michael Hoefflin Foundation, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
The William S. Hart Union High School District is an exemplary district located in Santa Clarita, California, a community nestled in North Los Angeles County. The Hart District, rated as one of the top secondary districts in the state of California, strives to make a difference in the lives of our diverse student body by instilling a sense of community, courage, creativity, and caring. We do this by working together to offer high-performing academic programs, championship athletic teams, award-winning performing arts, and a robust career and technical education program. For our teachers and staff, we offer competitive salaries, a great benefits package, and a chance to work with our amazing students. Being in Santa Clarita offers the opportunity to be just minutes from it all. The beach, mountains, desert, close to the excitement of Los Angeles, all while living in a beautiful and safe community. So we invite you to meet with us and think about joining the William S. Hart District family, where we believe in one heart, every student, opportunity ready.
Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. There's a well-known saying that is often attributed to the famous Greek storyteller Aesop: no act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted. And here in Santa Clarita, we are lucky to have so many incredible people who generously give their time and resources to help others.
We really do. Our community is full of amazing individuals making a difference every day. And if you've been looking for ways to give back but aren't sure where to start, you're in luck, because joining us today to tell us about the many opportunities where you can volunteer locally is Gabby Vera, the City of Santa Clarita's Volunteer Engagement Coordinator. Thanks for being here, Gabby.
Thank you for having me.
So we have so many wonderful volunteers. How many have helped make a difference so far, and how would you encourage more people to volunteer? What would you say to them to get them interested?
Well, Carrie, back in 2024, wow, just 2 months ago, we had over 5,600 volunteers help the city. They all gave back collectively over 37,000 hours. And they helped the city in their special events, beautification project. They helped us at our special events and our facilities, enriching the programs for residents of all ages. So if someone was interested in helping, I would say come out, meet your neighbors, make new friends, find out about the wonderful programs, trails, and facilities that we have in our community.
So the city has a ton of upcoming events. You're talking about the need for volunteers and everything. We want to hear all about them. So we're going to go down a list, and we're going to start with the Youth Arts Showcase. Tell us about that and who you're looking for and what they could be doing.
Okay, well, that's taking place on Saturday, March 15th. We're looking for volunteers of ages 12 and up. It will be a day event with various shifts from 10:45 to 3 o'clock, and we're hoping that people come out and help us in craft stations. We're looking for volunteers that are comfortable engaging people of all ages and leading, and then learning on site how to do craft activities for everyone to enjoy.
One of my favorite events of the year is the Santa Clarita Cowboy Festival. And there are so many, I see the volunteers out there and the things that they get to do. Give us a little taste of what that would be.
Okay, well, Cowboy Festival is a fun event. It's spreading out between 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, April 12th and 13th. And we are looking for volunteers ages 10 and up who are going to help us from 9:30 to 6:30 p.m. all-day event. And we're looking for their help as food court runners who are offering a food type delivery like Uber Eats to the merchant vendors and buying food from the food vendors. And then we're going to have volunteers who are helping in pioneer activities like pioneer laundry or butter making, the best butter you have tasted. Yeah. And then our volunteers are also going to help us at activities like inflatable hatchet throwing or archery. Yes. A lot of fun to enjoy. It's a great way to enjoy Hart Park with your family.
First of all, I didn't think you could improve on butter, but I'm glad to hear you say inflatable hatchet throwing. And how about public service, like the neighborhood cleanup, for example? Tell us about that.
So if you are someone who's really interested in cleaning up litter from our community, we invite you to this event. It's for all ages. It's perfect for families, clubs, or just individuals who want to get out. This event will take place in 3 different corners of the community: New Hall Community Center, Canyon Country Park, and then the Santa Clarita Sports Complex. Volunteers will come to these sites. They will go ahead and pick up cleaning supplies and then distribute out into paseos, their neighborhoods, and pick up trash. It's a very important event. We have volunteers who have a lot of fun just doing this with their friends, showing us proudly their trash bags.
Right. I love that. And Easter's just around the corner, which means eggs-stravaganza.
Do we have any eggs left, by the way?
That's a good question.
Yeah. We won't
That's a
after
really
that.
Good question.
That is true. After the event, so many will go home with all of these eggs, and we really need volunteers. Prior to the event, we're going to have egg stuffing days, where some of our local teams will come out and stuff these eggs with candies and prizes for people to take at the extravaganza event. That's happening on April 19th. Such a busy day.
It sounds like it.
And so volunteers will go ahead and help pick up any remaining plastic, distribute prizes, and also help take pictures with the Easter Bunny.
Oh.
I like that.
I want to get a picture of the Easter Bunny. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Gabby?
Yeah, our website doesn't just promote city opportunities. We also promote local nonprofit ones. Our website, the Santa Clarita Volunteer Hub, is a way for nonprofit leaders to also connect to interested volunteers. They can promote their needs through our website. And through that, City of Santa Clarita's volunteer program was able to get a Rising of Excellence Award. And so it's so wonderful that we are able to connect our volunteers with just different ways to give back.
And that's a really prestigious award. Tell us a little bit more about that and what that means to the community and to our city.
Yeah, so the volunteer program received this award once they identified the need for nonprofits to connect to their wider community. Through the Volunteer Hub, they have been able to find board members, devoted volunteers who stay with them long term. And so this award was given to the city by the National Association of Volunteer Programs in Local Governments.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, and where can folks who are interested in volunteering learn more about this?
They can go to santaclaritavolunteers.com, register for all of these spectacular events that I just mentioned, and learn about the ones that will be coming up after April to get involved in the community.
Awesome. Gabby, thank you for being here, and thank you for coordinating all the volunteers in our community.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. Here in Santa Clarita, we're fortunate to have a variety of resources that fill the growing need for mental health and wellness in the community.
And one of those resources is the Dixon Family Health Center, which recently received a grant to expand its behavioral health services. And here to tell us more about this much-needed expansion are the center's CEO, Philip Solomon, and Director of Behavioral Health, Amanda Hills. And thank you both for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Philip, let's start with you. Remind our viewers what the Dixon Family Health Center is and what the services are that they offer.
Yeah, so we're a community health center. We've been in the Santa Clarita community since 1980, so well over 40 years. What started out as just primary healthcare services, we really have evolved into adding some specialty care. one which we'll be talking about today with our mental health and substance use disorder treatment. But we also offer oral health care, dental services, enrollment services for people that don't have health care insurance. And we have several health center locations as well as a few other behavioral health locations here in Santa Clarita.
And it's so important. How many families has the center served?
Well, families, I know individuals, it's about 5,000 a year. That's close to about 14,000 visits per year. That's who comes to our facility. We're only expecting that to grow because our services just continue to grow each and every year.
Amanda, the center recently received a grant that helped expand on the center's behavioral health programs. Tell us about that and how it's been a godsend to the services and programs that you offer.
Absolutely. So our behavioral health program consists of 6 licensed staffed therapists who assist our SCV community with their mental health needs. Recently, as you mentioned, we were awarded a grant that provides us to also support who are undergoing substance use disorder concerns, and we have a specialized psychiatric nurse practitioner that we were able to hire to bring on board to provide medicated assisted treatment for folks in need. And we also were able to hire and bring on a certified counselor who treats specifically substance use disorder. Now with these 2 folks, we can not only provide the specific behavioral health counseling, mental health services, psychotherapy, group and family, and individual services, but we can offer community support to the students in the Heart District, as well as the families in the Heart District who are struggling with substance use. The gold standard of treatment a lot of times is psychotherapy, as well as a medication evaluation to see if a person might meet criteria to address their depression or anxiety or whatever might be troubling them with medication. And that's what our psychiatric nurse practitioner does.
Carrie, I'll just ask you, either one of you can answer this, by the way. Has there been an increase in a specific service, say in the last couple of years, that you've noticed?
Yeah, I'll start with that one. Yeah. Particularly when the pandemic hit, what we saw and experienced was this an increased need for mental health support. At all ages, and for us, as we saw that growth and that need expand, we actually had opportunities for funding opportunities to grow our mental health program. So we've been growing this program for the last 7-8 years, but I would say in the last 3 to 4 years, it really has expanded. I mean, we opened up 2 standalone behavioral health facilities during that time period and added some additional therapists. And then now with the substance use grant that we got, that has all been within the last 4 years. So that in particular has really, the need has grown significantly in our community.
And I feel, as a parent of 2 teenage boys, that generation, having spent some of those crucial developmental years during COVID, being at home, how has that impacted that generation? What are you seeing?
I think it's impacted that generation greatly. In fact, I think youth are probably more impacted by the COVID epidemic than anybody else. And specifically, too, in our community, we had to go through the Saugus school shooting and kids now being exposed to intruder drills and things that are very, very scary for adults, right? And we're expecting our kids to not only manage those challenges, but then have school shut down, go online, not have access to their friends and the social supports that they need. So we see a big increase in depression and anxiety among our youth. And I think really empowering youth to seek services and to understand that they're not alone is really important.
So to follow up on that, if you felt that somebody was in need, they're watching right now, and they just feel like that there's nothing that they can do because they feel that we're in these uncertain times, not going to be able to get through it, what would your advice be to them?
My advice would be to reach out to your networks, to talk to a parent, to talk to a friend, to talk to a colleague, another student. We also have a mental health crisis number that not many people know about. It's 988, and that number is accessible to all types of people who are experiencing needs either with mental health, behavioral health, but it's really, really important to access your support system. And if you don't have a support system, again, that 988 number can be really helpful.
So Philip, if people want to access the services that you guys offer, where is the best place for them to go?
Just go online, sdfhc.org. Give any one of our locations a call. We have counselors and clinicians at each one of our health center locations, as well as the 2 separate behavioral health locations that we have in our community. And one last thing I want to add with the growth of our programs, our mission is to serve those that may not have access to these vital services, whether it's primary health care, pediatrics, dental, behavioral health. So when I've talked about the expansion of our behavioral health program, the expansion was really to target those individuals and families who may not have access, who may be underinsured, who can't afford insurance, and can't travel outside of our community for that care. So we've grown our programs specifically to improve the access to that specific demographic.
Philip Solomon and Amanda Hills from the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And we appreciate you and all the work you do. We'll be right back.
Compared to the thousands of students that live in this valley, all of our own emotions and problems can seem insignificant. What are we if another stressed out, overworked student in a sea of misunderstood adolescents? True that most of the time they aren't really extreme worries like paying the bills or feeding a family, it's still something that's too much of a person of our age to handle. You have every reason to feel valid in your struggles. There's no shame in struggling. It doesn't matter if it's having a difficult time with a friend or a hard time in your family, deciding on which college to go to, if any at all. You are always valid. The worst thing you can do for yourself is decide that you are not worthy of growth. Because at the end of those long, exhausting days, it is you that decides to take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself looks different for everybody. Coming home and taking a mental health day can be great, but for some people, our issues are a bit bigger than that. There are so many resources available for you to use at your school, such as your Serenity Space, your campus social worker. These are great, simple solutions, as sometimes other professional help can be hard to ask for, let alone be very expensive. You can also always ask for help using your school's student care line. While all of these things can help, it is the mindset of change that truly helps us get to the place we all strive to be at. Jim Rohn once said that your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. And change doesn't have to be all on your own. It is a path we all work on together. Allow yourself patience and the mindset of the journey and not the destination.
Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. We always love it when our next guest comes on the show because she brings the cutest friends, cute furry friends, that is.
Yeah, and when they asked me if I wanted to do the show, I said, there's going to be a dog? Yeah. We want to introduce you to somebody who's beyond cute, and I'd say he's downright handsome. I think I can say that.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Here to introduce us to Milo, a lovable pit bull looking for his forever home, is Outta the Cage Executive Director Jill Deshay. And Jill, it's great to have you here.
Great to be back.
Thank you, both of you, for
having
joining us.
Yeah, we're thrilled to be here. As you can tell, Milo is thrilled to be here. Sorry, met everybody.
For any people who might be viewing for the first time, can you remind us what Outta the Cage is all about?
Sure, yeah. Outta the Cage is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we specialize in saving shelter dogs who have problems being seen, or may have some health issues, or may have some behavior, or have just been at the shelter for a long time and have been forgotten. And that's Milo's category right there. He was in the shelter since last August, and being a black dog, he didn't get noticed very often at the shelter. And but he was really good in playgroup, and the volunteers were all really lobbying for him. And so we went and met him. And you going down? You going down, buddy?
See ya.
Going for the tummy
Good night.
rubs.
Good night. Are we really that boring, Milo?
But I mean, you can see what just a happy sweetheart he is. And so we decided to rescue him and get him out and feature him and bring him here and let people see the real Milo.
And we're seeing it right now. And you said when you came in that his tail doesn't stop wagging. And you're right, he is just the happiest little love there.
Really, and just loves. We took him to an adoption event this past weekend, and you know, never met a stranger. I mean, people were coming up, little kids were coming up like, you know, and normally you're like, you know, take it slow. But Milo just loved meeting everybody. He was the center of attention. On our Instagram, we have this little photo of like a bunch of people surrounding him, like he's, you know, addressing the audience. He's very, very social and cool.
He has the best ears, by the way. I just want to say that. Look at those ears.
He's got antenna ears.
Milo.
Say hi.
Hi. Good to see you. By the way, can somebody tell me why we do that? It's so cute to see little
Baby talk.
Wait, what is it about dogs that make us talk like that?
Because he's a good boy. Oh, he's a good boy.
See, exactly.
Yeah.
He loves it.
So, Jill, you brought a lot of different dogs on the show. Frenchies, and you brought a certain Belgian Malinois, my Raya, who I took home, and now it's Milo's turn. So tell us what kind of family would be good for Milo.
Really, any kind of family. We've seen him with kids, you know, we've seen him with adults. He's very social, you know. Normally we say, you know, we walk in here and we say, you know, pet him under the chin, you know, let him, you know, decompress for a minute, and, you know, the dude is just super friendly, and he would love to be your constant companion, you know.
He'd make a good linebacker, too.
He would.
Tell us about the process, because this dog now is in, so you rescue dogs, then they go to foster care, right? And so there's a transition.
Yeah, there's a little transition. So he's with our friends at Humble Canine, and they are a board and train, and he doesn't really need a lot of training. You know, he is who he is. But, you know, they're watching him, and they're exercising him and acclimating him to the pack and introducing him to dogs. And everything they do for the dogs gives us data about the dog that we can, in turn, use to promote the dog and curate the dog to its best family, as Carrie knows. So, and you know, every day's a party. You know, it's so funny because when we have adopters, we normally say, okay, you're going to take the dog home, 4 weeks of boring. You know, no parties, no having friends over, no going to your mom's with the dog. You know, just let the dog decompress and relax. But with him, I mean, I could see you having a party for him, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, he's so social, and he acclimates to anything, and he's along for the ride, really.
And that's one of the things you mentioned, how you help the families kind of adapt to the new dog and vice versa. But I have to tell you, Rick, there was so much help and support from Jill and from our foster when we got our dog. Like, they don't drop the dog off and leave. It is constant communication. They're helping. We're sharing pictures. So they make it a really easy transition.
Yeah, we stay in touch for sure, because A, you know, we want to make sure it's a success, and B, because we love them and we want to see how they're doing, you know, right? I know.
We cannot not discuss the negativity that's associated with pit bulls. Maybe you could discuss a little bit about that.
Because this is just
people might be right, exactly.
Yeah, scary.
People could be hesitant,
yeah.
Right?
Well, you know, I think pit bulls are very attuned, probably more than most dogs, to energy. And so if they're in a weird environment, they might get weird, you know. If they're in a friendly environment where there are a lot of pit bull loving people around who want the best for them, they will be fun and happy and carefree. And so, yeah, I think that, particularly in a lot of ways, he's a 3 strikes dog, right? Because not only is he a pit bull, but he's black. People just don't see black dogs as often in shelters. And he was a long-term stay dog, right? And so at shelters, the clock starts to tick as soon as the dog comes in, and they don't let dogs hang around forever at the shelter. So thank God he was good in playgroup and, really wasn't, didn't require extra work from anybody. And the volunteers all really grew to love him, so they promoted him as well, which was great, and that's how we met him.
Mm-hmm. And you really give us kind of a pulse on what's happening in our local shelters. And honestly, it can be pretty grim. So is that what we're seeing so far in 2025?
Actually, it's interesting. There's good news and bad news. The good news is the shelters aren't completely overcrowded like they have been since COVID. Right. And we've been talking about that at every single time we come. The COVID dogs came back as people returned to work, and They became teenagers. They were no longer cute little puppies anymore. They needed some guidance and training, and a lot of people just weren't willing to take that on or take on the expense. So it was just kind of a perfect storm for all these dogs coming back to shelters. But there have been some concerted efforts to get dogs adopted, and there have been programs to help people pay for adoption. There have been out-of-state transports, which is something that we're very focused on as well, as we get to know a lot of the dogs in shelters. The LA and the surrounding areas are saturated markets. However, having said that, we do have some shelters that are no longer 2 or 3 to a kennel, and every dog has its own kennel, which you would think would be a natural thing, but hasn't been for a long time. The bad news is that we are seeing a lot more rehoming requests from private parties. We have never gotten, we get an average of 25 rehoming requests a week from people we don't know. Most of them are strangers saying, I heard about you guys, I can no longer keep my fill in the blank, can you help me place him? Or her, and it's heartbreaking.
Well, because you look at dogs and you think, oh, they're just so cute. This is going to be easy, and I've heard people describe them. They're like children sometimes, right? And if we treat them as a member of our family, that means you got to put work into them.
Exactly.
But there's such a wonderful payoff, though.
Yeah, it's always worth it, isn't it? Well, and especially for this one, you got to be kidding me.
Look at that.
Yeah, you're a good boy. You're
like
a very good boy.
Little mama's boy.
Well, it's funny because I haven't seen him in a while, and he, they know the person that took them out of the shelter kennel. They just do. So even if we miss each other, when we see each other, it's a nice reunion, huh? Aww. And he'd be that way with anybody. He bonds very tightly with his humans.
He looks like he's kind of bonded to you there. So given what the status is in the shelter, does that change your focus at Out of the Cage?
Yeah, good question. A little bit. We are helping some people, with some resolutions for their dogs. And sometimes that's just about helping with a medical bill or something like that. It doesn't mean, taking the dog away. So we are being very selective about that because it's overwhelming. But we are doing a little bit of that. And we are still focused on medical dogs in 2025 because they don't last as long as shelters either. So,
Anything more you want to tell us about Milo before we say goodbye to this amazing animal?
He's doing great. He's been doing great since we rescued him from the shelter. We typically don't take dogs to adoption events right away until we get to know them, but he has so much fun at adoption events that we can't help it. So we will be at Malibu Farmers Market the first Sunday of every month this year, and he's going to have a ball at Malibu Farmers Market. So for those of you who are interested in Milo and want to come meet him, come to Malibu. March 3rd.
Yeah.
And how about a website or phone number?
Yeah, Out of the Cage. It's OUTTA, thecage.org.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? See, you can't resist doing that, can you? What is it about this?
Oh,
Milo.
Come here. Come here. Oh, yes. Oh, you're free. You're free. Oh, well, thank you for bringing Milo in.
Thanks for having us, you guys.
Anytime.
Come on, boys.
All right, stick with us. There's more to come. Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. The City of Santa Clarita just unveiled a new playground at Northbridge Park with inclusive elements, and it was created in partnership with the Saugus Union School District.
With fun, accessible features and a special nod to the Charles Helmers Elementary School Husky mascot, it's a great new spot for kids to play. Learn all about it in this week's episode of This Week in Santa Clarita. Check it out.
Welcome to the brand new playground here at Northbridge Park. Today, we cut the ribbon with the Charles Helmers Elementary Class of 2025, bringing a brand new place for children and the community to play here at the park. This playground features a wide variety of inclusive elements and is a shared use playground with students at Charles Helmers Elementary School as well as residents. To ensure the safety of our students, this playground will be gated and used exclusively by Helmer students during school hours. However, after school, on weekends, and during non-school days, the gates will be unlocked, allowing residents to enjoy this wonderful space. For more information about the park, visit the link below.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to tune in next week and every week for another episode of SCVTV's Community Corner.
And check out all of our past episodes and segments at scvcommunitycorner.com or our Facebook at SCV Community Corner.
Thank you so much for watching.
And thanks for being with us.
At SCVTV, we believe in the power of television to inspire, educate, and unite our community. But we can't do it alone. Donate today, and together we can continue to create meaningful content and provide next-generation workforce opportunities.